take a moment and try and remember the most wonderful, happiest experience of your time, whether it's in your childhood, your adulthood, whatever it is. You see, you all remembered it, didn't you? Now, take a moment and remember the worst possible memory that has shocked you, upset you, and helped make you what you are today. I firmly believe that for the rest of our lives, we try and run away from things that upset us and hurt us. And many of us leave countries where there is pain, heartache, and upset. And now some of us don't return. And seeing the incredible diversity here on this campus, it made me think and wonder, you can take the child out of the country, but can you really take the country out of the child? I want to share with you my little journey. Well, it's been quite a long journey, actually, and can be clearly divided into two sections. The first 25 years of my life in apartheid South Africa. The second, 25 plus a little bit, won't go into details, in post-apartheid South Africa, since the freedom of Nelson Mandela. I was a few months old when Nelson Mandela was put into prison, and I grew up in a society that was distraught, distracted, and absolutely diverse. Nelson Mandela fought for the freedom of South Africa. My parents decided to stay in the country and do whatever they could to fight and build an ethical company in a horrifically unethical environment. To paint the picture for you, people of color were segregated in every sector of society. Education, the blacker your skin, the poorer your education. The blacker your skin, the furthest away you would live from the urban areas and the beautiful suburbs. The blacker your skin, the lesser your chance was to make an amends or make an advance in life. This is the environment in which I grew up and saw my parents constantly fighting. They chose to appoint people of color to superior positions. They fought the Separate Development Act. They employed people of color in their homes and didn't insist that they had passes. And one of my deepest memories is of the time when hiding in the cupboard with my nanny, a black lady from the Eastern Cape. We were hiding away from the police who were hammering on the door, asking to see her passbook. Of course, my parents employed people who didn't have passbooks, and the police eventually went away. But that had a profound effect on me and taught me the essence of equality. Equality in every sense of the word. And that's what we as humans really are. So the rest of my childhood, I did little bits that I could, volunteering, listening to my parents, who taught me that inequality anywhere, in whatever sense, affects equality everywhere. I went to university and was a student in the University of Cape Town during the 80s, where many of us were holding placards saying "Free Nelson Mandela," hundreds of student riots, attacks. It was a very violent time for us as students, but it was an exciting time. We expressed our feelings. We wanted the freedom. Eventually, I realized, perhaps I need to get out of this country. I'm not going to make changes. It's very difficult to make changes. Didn't want to get thrown into prison. So I left, started my own life, pursued my own entrepreneurial goals, sowed my wild oats, started a family, but I wasn't happy. I had a great business. I lived in a beautiful country in France, in the Alps, but my deep purpose was not there. I couldn't get to grips with it. So after a couple of years, I decided to go home. I decided I am a wealthy, privileged, Jewish, white South African with a phenomenal education, international experience, access to business, part of a heritage of a phenomenal, successful retail company that has now built itself up to over 1,100 stores in 7 sub-Saharan countries in Africa, with a turnover in excess of $6 billion, employing over 66,000 people. What am I doing fighting the system and not being part of this amazing transformation that's going on in South Africa? Nelson Mandela had recently been freed from prison. So-called New South Africa was beginning. I picked up myself, my 2 children. As a single mother, I went back home. And I started at the bottom in the retail chain. I became a deli girl, quite a good deli girl, I might add. I can make chickens, I can skin fish, I can make sausage, I can clean the floor. The only thing I wouldn't advise I do is count the money. Not too good at that. But I learnt, and I worked for 10 years on the shop floor with the people of South Africa, the diverse communities, people who would walk for miles, would have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning because they were forced to live in separate areas, even though democracy in the new South Africa had changed. The areas were still diverse. Our nation was still split. We were split by color. We were split by education. We still had excellent education, and white people were rising faster through the ranks. After I'd done all my experience, I learned that I had a role to play. I wanted to use my energy to actually... Sorry, we just got a bit of a hitch here. I wanted to use the knowledge, the skills, and my passion for making a difference in a positive way. I started a small business incubator, and I wanted to ensure that the beauty of our land was there for everybody, to be shared amongst all. And being a powerful retail chain with enormous access to the broader society, where hundreds and thousands of values of rands, dollars, of goods go through our system every single day, why couldn't I help use my skills, mentor young entrepreneurs to become suppliers to our retail industry? We got communities, very poor communities, whose only asset was the magnificent area around them with a phenomenal bee population. We sent people, and usually the skills and development came from white individuals who'd been educated. The skills we gave to share people, to teach them how to become business people, what it meant to have an audited facility, what it meant to have health, hygiene, and safety regulations, how it was to become properly financially literate. These are skills that individuals have never been exposed to before. People who have no role models whatsoever, people who only role models in their lives are domestic workers. Mothers and fathers were forced to be menial laborers, domestic workers, bus drivers, shopkeepers, very few professors, very few engineers, very few architects, doctors, lawyers. And from the inside, my parents constantly kept building, sending people to university, creating professionals and experts. And within our company, we have these experts. We have everybody you can think of, from doctors, lawyers, tax officials, finance people, auditors, accountants. Let's use their expertise, partner them up with these small individuals, and help grow a proper economy. Young entrepreneurs who want to make a difference, white people, small suppliers who have home industries, sharing skills, uplifting individuals, entire communities who want to make a difference. This particular community, called Goedgedacht on the west coast of South Africa, was ravaged by fetal alcohol syndrome, a devastating effect of the apartheid system, where farmers would pay their staff in alcohol. For generations, the children have mental incapacity. The community decided to plant olives. We as a foundation helped them, and today, 18 communities, we reach out to over 6,500 people, are now the beneficiaries of the olive oil that is sold through our stores right around the country. And it's a project of hope. These children, for the first time in generations, have hope to reach out and get to school, to finish school, to have an education, and break that cycle of poverty. There are hundreds of people who supply a retail industry. Hundreds, from goods not for resale, uniforms that our staff have to wear. In South Africa, we have to provide a uniform for every single day that the staff go to work, because we appreciate many of them live in informal settlements, don't have washing machines, can't have the luxury of washing their clothes every day. We want them to look world-class, we have to provide it for them. An incredible young lady named Ntombi, from 8 years old, she started sewing. She had a passion for sewing, never gave it up, managed to go to sewing school. We helped her buy her equipment, and now she trains 10 women from a squatter camp round the corner from her, and she has the contract to make the uniforms for one division of our company. It's a small way that we can change. This amazing woman started as a pig farmer with 4 small pigs. She now is the first female black commercial pig farmer on the continent of Africa. She supplies over 350 carcasses, employs 46 people previously unemployed, disadvantaged, and supplies into our supply chain every single week. She's educated. And finally, my last story is about hope. This incredible woman looks after 480 orphaned and vulnerable children and discovered this miraculous plant called moringa. It's got phenomenal values. Google it and you'll see. There's tremendous hope in South Africa. I'm privileged to be part of the next generation who are going to take the values and legacy of fighting a horrific apartheid system to make a difference. And in the wonderful words of our phenomenal leader, a great leader who we were very privileged to have met many times, Nelson Mandela, he said, "Overcoming poverty is not a task of charity. It is an act of justice. Like slavery and apartheid, poverty is not natural. It is man-made and can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of human beings." And I beg of you, each and every one of you, have a phenomenal skill that you are learning in this unbelievable environment here. Everyone in the world has a skill that somebody else hasn't got. Whether it's the power to dance, the power to read, the ability to think, the ability to solve problems. Share your skills. Find somebody who we can reach out to and make a change in the life and change humanity for the better. Thank you very much.